podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
All right, Daniel, it's been a good weekend, has it not?
It has been another good weekend. Oh,
in a series of good weekends. I guess the question is, are we in the title race?
Maybe. If we win in midweek and don't lose next weekend, then maybe. I can't really accept the fact that this team, or really that Arsenal team, are a proper title-winning side.
Yeah.
But the standard just isn't that high, and I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of United fans have been saying for quite a long time. As Arsenal, as they've seen Liverpool, have been racking up all these points. The standard is not high, but people just think it's bitterness.
Yeah.
But now United are good again. I'm saying again, every team has some players that can really hurt you. There are loads of good players, but there aren't a lot of good teams.
Yeah, there are a lot of flaws in all of the top 6, 7, 8 or whatever, and even more flaws below that. So, I mean, I'd feel more confident if, as we're recording, Spurs weren't losing to Arsenal. There was a scenario in which Spurs beat Arsenal, United win at Palace, and we're level with, and we beat Arsenal and we're level with points. I mean, I know it's kind of those, and in a 38 game season, it's stupid like thinking about swings in a week like that. But suddenly you'd feel like, oh, my God, could this be on? At least what is happening is there's real momentum behind United. You could have said the previous 6 games after the World Cup, who'd we beaten? They were all crap. They're in the bottom 3 or close to it, a championship side, and so on. But you can't say that after United. 100% genuinely, Ten Hag outthought Guardiola and did something Guardiola wasn't expecting for 60 minutes of that game. Maybe more time. And it's been a long time since we've had that. And Pep had to say it afterwards. United are not a reactive team anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real 5 out of 5 fucking yeses on the fucking yesometer yesterday.
Yes, for sure, yes.
Everything. Just the fact that we came from behind to do it, having been the better side in the game, saw out them playing well, and then were able to hang in there.
Yeah.
As you say, Ten Hag picked the right team. I should talk about in a minute. Also, he outthought Guardiola. And this is the thing, because I remember we were sitting here last season and we were discussing Pochettino or Ten Hag. And
yeah,
I had no real reason to say it was Ten Hag other than I felt like Pochettino's time might have been, and being not quite as good as Klopp and Guardiola is not satisfactory. And it does seem like the board, or Fletcher, Murta, whoever responsible, they actually probably changed their minds. They probably thought it was going to be Pochettino, and then they appear to have picked the right person this time.
They do. I mean, that Spurs side at its height, the best of that Spurs side under Pochettino, was exciting to watch, and he'd built that team, and he'd integrated younger players, and he'd done all the things that you would kind of associate with being things Manchester United fans like, and he was familiar, Pochettino. But there's also a reason, and I never quite knew why or got the inside track from anyone on why United had constantly rejected him for someone else. There's something about there 3 times, right? They rejected Pochettino when they could have had him. And there's something about him that just doesn't, whether it's interview, whether it's the way he builds stuff, whether they've heard something in the industry, he clearly was not someone that they wanted because they could have had him. And Ten Hag, I don't know what PowerPoint presentation he gave in his panel interview, but
whether he was wearing that blazer with the things on the lapel. So is that a branding thing? Like, what is that?
I don't know.
I mean, he's older than us, so it shouldn't necessarily be something with which we were unfamiliar. But I admit that smart casual is not my forte.
yeah. Suit with trainers of some kind is a very in thing at the moment. So
I guess for me that's half right in that I'm yes, trainers and no suit. So you got the trainers bit right. But I don't know. I mean, I guess then I think about it, I think, what would I wear if I was a football manager? Because suits are obviously crap, but you look like a scruff in a tracksuit in that kind of situation. So I'm not.
I think
sure.
I'd go for that. I think I'd go for skinny suit, not too businessy, and some trainers of some kind.
And a roll neck, or just no top. No top.
No, I wouldn't go for a roll neck. I'd go for a tee. So
I'm bare chested.
Bare chested.
Yeah, that would be a flex.
That really would be. You'd want some abs though if you did that.
Or self in my case. Is that right?
Anyway, back to the game. Back to the game. He got it all right. He got it. You're right. He picked the right team. I think I was discussing with Tom last week. What team was he going to pick? Like, would we sacrifice Eriksen's passing range and control for Fred's energy? And at no point did we go, hang on a minute, he could play both of them if he just sacrificed Anthony, who
sacrificing Anthony. That sounds a bit much. But,
hey, if we win the title, it's a sacrifice I'm prepared to make.
Yeah. I would have played Fred and not Eriksen. Yeah. But I guess it was a smart decision that against City, he realised, even though last time we didn't have Casemiro, we weren't playing as well. And also, I think it's quite important to say that this current City team may never ever play as well again as they played on that day in the first half, the first hour that day. I mean, they were fucking brilliant. I mean, it wasn't enjoyable to watch, and it's not enjoyable to say now, but they were 10 out of 10 basically that day.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and I guess what he decided was that Anthony, having Eriksen's ability to keep the ball whilst having Fred chasing about, actually gave you more than just having the chasing about, more control of the game. And
there's many ways to have control of the game, as Jose Mourinho says all the time, right? And the thing United did brilliantly in that first half, and Fred did brilliantly, and he doesn't always do brilliantly. It's not just the chasing around, it's the discipline to be in the right positions on the pitch, and he really, really did that well. How many times did Haaland get the ball in that first half? I think it was something like 7. It was almost never. They just cut the passing lanes off all the time, and United did that so well. They just stopped City getting into dangerous areas, and then they used the ball over the top to make sure that City couldn't press up, and so the press didn't work for City, and that was brilliant. And as soon as they took Martial off, that stopped working, and it stopped working because now that instead of having 2 players, they could get the ball through or over the top or into the channels. They only had 1 because Anthony wants it into the feet all the time.
I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Weghorst against Palace, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with him being a big unit, but the fact that you can actually play through him. And he doesn't do that. You can't play over the top with him. He doesn't have the pace, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, Martial came off. Ten Hag said afterwards he felt something. This classic Martial. He just doesn't want to play through any kind of... and the contrast with him and Rashford, who's
feel things
on
when I
one
watch
leg
him play.
At the end of... Yeah.
I think it's funny with Martial because the way Ten Hag spoke about him pre-season, I think if you took his supposed attributes, he is really very close to the kind of centre-forward I think that Ten Hag wants.
Completely.
Like, got a bit of pace in behind, can hold it up, calm in front of goal, can run with the ball. The problem is he's A, never fit, B, probably not quite good enough at any of those things, and C, attitude isn't where you would want it to be. But I think a better version of him is pretty much exactly the centre forward that Ten Hag would like to have. And
well, they should chuck 100 million at Victor Osimhen this winter, shouldn't they? That would might throw United into the title race properly. I mean, ruin
one or
season.
2 good signings, and we will compete next season, I think.
Yeah.
But the other call he made was playing Luke Shaw, which again, like, I feel like this is something. There's consequences. It doesn't even matter if you miss time because you're away winning the World Cup and celebrating.
Right.
If you're not there and someone comes in and plays well, unlucky.
Yeah, no favourites. I mean, you would never have said this under Ollie, would you? But there are no favourites.
I mean, he didn't have as many good players either.
He didn't, no.
He didn't just have as many players full stop, where it would just be circular. This one would be shit, and so he'd bring in that one. Whereas Mourinho tended to keep playing the same dickheads who was shit all the time because he couldn't bring himself to pick the ones he hated. And every now and again, like that game we lost to Brighton, I think the first year Brighton come up at the end of the season, he plays Martial and Rashford together. They're crap, we lose, and then he just laughs.
Yeah.
At how crap they were. So I think Ole didn't have options. I was thinking about that this week because obviously I was because you got Casemiro now, and he's the player that anyone. It's just unbelievable that we didn't sign a player in that position all the time that Ole was in charge, or even before that.
Or before that. I mean, the amount of time that people talked about how do you get the best out of Paul Pogba, and it may never have worked, but imagine putting Casemiro next to Paul Pogba. You would have suddenly had so much more discipline in that midfield.
He wouldn't be worse than if Matic was there. That's
definitely not. I mean, I just look at the France midfield when Pogba was his best, 2018 World Cup or something, and with Kante alongside him.
And he also had a Marquisio and I've even forgotten now who the other one was.
Pirlo.
Pirlo, yeah, exactly. Juve. But, I mean, admittedly, slower-paced football, but the thing is, like, there's that summer where Ole gave 85 million for Maguire and 50 odd for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Even if those transfers had worked, it still felt like that money had to go on a midfield player. That we now have. But I mean, on the subject of Wan-Bissaka, he's done all right. Good. No, he's been very good. Better than that.
I love that he went around 3 players with a pirouette and a cutback. It was a brilliant moment. He's still not to be too nerdy. He still does not get the ball into the final third enough generally, but he did great yesterday. Great defensively, no mistakes, and he was pushing forward.
He did still get caught out at the back post, daydreaming. Like Grealish was his man.
For Grealish, yes.
And yeah, he's always had that. Seems unlikely he's going to lose that now.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for him because I liked him at Palace, and I just assumed, because obviously you didn't see him that often, that you got to youth level as a winger.
Yeah.
You're playing you're on Palace's books as a winger. Yeah. You must have good feet for a fullback. And so it was quite surprising when it turned out that he had not even good feet for a canoe. And then he started. But what he can do, and what he did yesterday, and I think I wrote that he did this in the season before Ole got fired, as a ball carrier, he's quite good because he's hard to knock off the ball.
Sure.
And we saw a bit of that yesterday. And although, his dribbling, like beating men, is not something that he's necessarily ever going to be good at, his ability to plough into space is worth having.
His passing range is terrible, though, which I really do think impacts his ability to play in a Ten Hag side long term. But I could be totally wrong about that. It could be a renaissance under Ten Hag, and maybe now he's fit and Ten Hag's got some time with him, that those things that are missing from his game will come true. If I had to put money on it, and I don't have to, I would bet on United buying a right fullback in the summer. I mean, I know they're keen on getting Dalot signed up, so obviously Ten Hag likes him. But, I think the game he did perfectly well. I mean, the Bruno got man of the match, and he did some very good things, especially when he came inside in the second half, last 30 or so. But it's Casemiro that ties this team together. As you said last week, he's Lebowski's rug. He's so good, and the intensity of him and how much he wants it.
Yeah, the personality makes a massive difference.
I don't know whether you've seen the footage United put out. They have those low cameras they use for social.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's brilliant. After Rashford scores the winning goal, and he's diving into the crowd, and he's just like, why does he get it? Because I didn't see that intensity. I never saw him diving into the Madrid crowd.
It feels like it's a personality type, isn't it? That it's a different thing, probably. Like a Manchester derby, like that Old Trafford, is different to the Bernabeu, and I don't know that probably the atmosphere.
No, it's true. You never get a real atmosphere in Spanish football. I mean, I've been to the Bernabeu
because you don't have you don't have as many away fans. You hardly have any away fans usually. And just the atmosphere of the football feels a bit different. And I guess he's just turned up and it's been like, fucking like this.
I love the story that came out that United were worried about, and this may be apocryphal, but United were worried after the Brentford game that Casemiro would back out of the deal because they were so bad. and actually what he was doing was texting his agent saying, I can fix this.
Also, it has the Varane behind him. When you've got, suddenly it's just like, hang on, these are two extremely serious fuckers.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a proper level of expertise and personality. That if you're in that team, and you look around and there's Casemiro and there's Champions League Varane, the feeling that you're going to get when you see those people there, when you think about what was there previously, there's Harris Maguire and there's Scott
Who's not a
McTominay.
leader for all that big Harry Maguire.
It's just
nonsense that
it's
comes
just
out.
people who are like Casemiro's a great of his generation. Varane is a great of his generation. Like both of those two, like their achievements are such that they're pushing, like some of the best players of the last 40 years.
Yeah,
and they're still good.
Yeah.
And it's that level, not just the fact that they know how to win and they're good at what they do, but it's the level of security and inspiration that it gives the other players. If you're Scott McTominay or whatever, or whoever, you don't want Casemiro thinking you're a twat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, the other story that came out midweek is just, I think it was Andy Mitten was talking about it on the Other United podcast, that many, if not most, of the dressing room are delighted that Ronaldo has gone. The relief is great because he wasn't an inspiration. He created tension and he created doubt.
Yeah, he was a bellend and whose arrival coincided with United being crap. And I don't.
And his departure has coincided with Marcus Rashford being absolutely brilliant.
Genuinely,
I don't think it's a coincidence.
It's partially a I would say the major factor between United becoming crap was Maguire and Shaw being appalling for an extended period of time. That's the biggest reason, because ultimately, without Ronaldo, United would have been even worse last season.
So
I mean,
I guess should we talk about the United goal that has got City fans and pundits and Richard Keys all up in arms?
Oh my God, what a joy! I wish it was more offside than it is.
Well, you know what?
I hate getting offsideist.
I know.
The superlative of offside is what we want.
There were some Chelsea fans going on about it. I was like, you dudes, you won a league title with two players about 3 yards offside. Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
And in the game they beat us earlier in the season, I think their winning goal. I think there were three things wrong with it.
That's right.
I can't understand how people have the chaos, the energy to get fired up about this stuff. Like, I see that goal, and I think it doesn't look like what a goal should look like in my understanding and experience of football. I can look at the laws and see why they gave it as a goal.
Yeah.
I can also look at the laws and say I don't think it's a goal, because I think that Rashford he slows down and does a little feint, and maybe he's just adjusting his stride, but he does something that makes that is enough for me to say, even if you forget all the other stuff that makes him interfering with play, that he's interfering with play. But what I don't like is
player. He has to interfere with player.
Play. Yeah. That Ederson would respond to. What I don't like is, Ederson acted like he was coming. Because to me, Ederson's not the linesman. What happens if Rashford pulls down his kicks, takes a piss on the ball, and Ederson looks at that? Does that, like, whatever?
Well, it gets into the part of the offside law, which I end up arguing with Mike Goodman, who I do like, and he's a good guy on Twitter about, which is the subjective part of the offside law, which again is why it didn't go to VAR, because it's a subjective piece. It's not a binary with offside, and parts of the offside law are binary. Are you ahead of the player or not? That's why you get the lines and all of that, and the semi-automated offside we had in the World Cup. And part of it is not. And this is a part of the offside law which is completely subjective, and it's about the interpretation of the linesman, assistant referee, and the referee to decide what the intent of the players were around that. And so they have to decide that what Rashford did impacted, which is part of the word used, and interfered with a player, not play generally.
But I also think it's the other way. I also think it's the other way around. It's not whether what he did impacted them. It's also whether what he did should have impacted them. Right. So, because otherwise you're saying that Ederson's the linesman. That's what I was saying before. If Rashford decides not to be involved in the play, right, and Ederson decides to respond to him anyway, that's basically Ederson putting his flag up.
That's right. The players, I think what happens is it makes it very hard to play an offside trap now.
Right, but that's been hard even before this version of the law. And what we should say is that
it's designed for that. It's designed for that.
The laws are badly drafted.
Yes, and I think the law is shit, but I also think, on the balance of everything, that the way it was interpreted by the referee and the VAR and PGMOL is that, like, we think this is perfectly okay. I think it's shit because it just doesn't feel right, does it? And like United fan, City fan, strange Chelsea fans on the internet or whoever, right? you look at that and go, that shouldn't be a goal, should it? And I kind of agree with that. But I think the way it's written and the way it's designed deliberately is to give an over advantage to the attacking team in those situations, so we get more goals.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is that you once, like, what's his name, Akanji, saying you can't, like, saying that you played the offside trap. That's
doesn't
not
matter.
relevant. That's not really
it's
relevant
irrelevant.
because you can't play an offside trap anymore and assume that once someone's offside, it's not like Dixon, Bold, Adams, and Winterburn, Lino, arm in the air, and that's it. The play then continues because we know why the play continues. So
and the linesman didn't put his flag up until Bruno had scored, right? And that is it's not offside until the phaser play is completely finished. And if City players respond to that, it's their fucking problem. It's in the same with all the pundits who don't understand why and how the law has been drafted. I wish the PGMOL give a briefing to all the clubs before the season, explain how the new laws work and how they're being interpreted and how they will be interpreted, right? And probably half the players are bored and they're falling asleep and they're on the phone texting or whatever or arranging dates.
It feels like it's just like a speed awareness course, doesn't it?
Yeah. They don't want to be there. The coaches probably pay more attention, but they should do it with pundits as well. And they should say, hey, look, this is how it works, because so many of them are interpreting offside from when they were players 20 years ago. Anyway, I'm happy to argue with people about this. I think it's, as it's written, is perfectly good. But I don't think it should be.
What I also saw is Keith Hackett in the Telegraph. The top referees, when they appear at big games, their adrenaline kicks in and it goes to another level. What is it? What, refereeing performance? Like what? They're brilliant. And how have you made this about you so quickly? And then he talks about an Old Trafford decision. And again, it's just like United have been crap for a decade. Fergie's gone.
Yep.
And the people say that there's no noise, no atmosphere. So what is an Old Trafford decision?
Yeah, I know.
And really, especially against the team who are properly cheating.
So.
Yeah. It's just, I
think it's nonsense. There's a City vlogger, whatever, who did a 13-minute video on why Manchester United are cheats. I'm like, we're back. If we are fully back, guys. If we're now being accused of being cheats, and
that feeling of ruining days and childhoods is just
brilliant.
Yeah,
it's
the
lovely
thing in the world.
Anyway, no doubt about the second goal. So I think it took Ten Hag 10, maybe 15 minutes, a bit too long to make the change and bring Garnacho on, because again, it gave United two outlets, and it really affected and impacted the way City players had to defend. And Garnacho, the thing I love about him, which the thing Anthony hasn't got, is how intelligent he is in the final third. He almost always makes the right decisions, Garnacho. Instead of just lumping a ball back in, then he realised if he attacked the fullback, Rashford was in space and not picked up. And
he's got that little bit of extra gas that Anthony doesn't have. I think that Anthony is also. Yeah. Anthony is also I don't think Anthony is a stupid player. I think Anthony's got a good brain. But what Garnacho has is just, if you stamp on the gas, you're just gone. And even over, we saw it yesterday, over half a yard. But you also see, he's electric. So every time he comes on, he's a danger, particularly if he comes towards the end of games when he's fresh and other people are tired. I mean, yeah, he's very, very good.
He's very, very good. And United need to get that. Apparently, they've got an extra year, but they need to get that contract sorted before he is demanding $300,000 a week and £100 million.
But it seems
effectively a £100 million player. So.
It seems unlikely he would at this point been the manager who's given him his chance in a team that's getting better. Yeah. Because money is going to come to him. And
well, look, it was always going to cost United $100 million to replace Mason Greenwood, basically. And it would cost United $100 million to replace Garnacho, and that's the price. I mean, so Chelsea now set the price. Mudryk, who's had 7 games in the Champions League or whatever, and maybe a generational player. Who knows? We'll see. He is very nice to look at, but
his tats are horrendous.
Yeah, or Kvaradona at Napoli, he'll command a similar kind of fee, I think. And
Kvaratskhelia, I've seen him. I've seen more of him. I haven't seen much of Mudryk. Kvaratskhelia is a player.
He's a proper player as well. Unfortunately, both of them are in a position they're overloaded, so we won't see them at Old Trafford. And for other reasons like money and all that. But anyway, delighted Garnacho's at the club. He's an incredible impact player when players are tired,
and just having options like that now.
Yeah.
And again, I think I used to say this, and I used to say there's an Irish radio station called Off the Ball. I've been doing usually once a week I talk about United on there roughly for the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it is. And I've been saying probably for the last 2 or these are good players that United have. Not all of them, but their top level is a good level, which is why they were so anger-inducing last season, because they were better than this. And so if you think there was the bones of a decent side there already, or at least some of the best players who could be the really high-level players in a good team. And so Ten Hag has had the opportunity to build on that. And now all of a sudden we've got options.
Yeah. Very, very much. And consequences for not playing well. And he appears to... I mean, there are so many players who've improved. There's something him and Van der Gaag are doing in training and preparation that is working for most of the team. I mean, it's got to the point, actually, you'd go, if you're one of the players who hasn't improved, why? And it's probably about you.
Yeah,
not,
I tell you,
coach.
I tell you what else I liked about Garnacho. He tweeted, I don't know if it was him or his agent, but it was a picture of him setting up the goal, and it said, "Assistance to one of the best in the world right now."
Right.
And I just
nice.
enjoyed the use of assistance, because obviously assist does come from assistance, but I've never thought about it in that way. And sometimes I guess it takes someone it's not their first language to make you understand something about your language. I was like, that's really nice. I like that. And I guess Rashford, I think this was someone put on Twitter. I think it might have been, what's his name? The guy, Statman Dave.
Yep.
That he scored 6 times against Liverpool, 5 times against West Ham and City, 4 times against Arsenal and Tottenham. And he is good at big games.
Yeah.
The thing with him has been lack of consistency
and
that stops him doing it regularly.
Yep.
But what we're seeing from him now is just that level of consistency. And I said this, I think, the other day, he's scoring tap-ins.
Yep.
And under Ole, that's when we got good under Ole for a bit. We scored so many brilliant goals and so few shit ones. And you can't be a good team, a proper good team, if that's the case. And they're now starting to score goals from inside the 6-yard box and headers and stuff. It just makes, like the goal Casemiro scored from the free kick the other day against Bournemouth. Those kinds of goals just makes such a difference. And I think part of that is just having a midfield that you're dominating the ball more, and you don't have to rely on bangers because you're exerting pressure.
Yeah. He's not even, it's not like this is, I mean, it's a hot streak, literally it's a hot streak, 9 in a row, but he's not even exceeding his expected stats this season. So it's not like I don't expect him to score a goal a game for the rest of the season. But he is getting in the right positions, pulling off enough shots, which historically he hasn't done, and he's consistent and he's injury free. And if this stays the same until the end of the season, he's going to score lots of goals.
He should get chances in every game. Yeah, he should get. He's good enough to get chances in every game, and he plays with good players now. So and good players all over the place. So it just makes it's amazing, really, isn't it? That having good players makes a better football team.
He should be able to play off Weghorst as well. He really should. Weghorst has a good record in Germany. I know he's crap at Burnley, but everyone was crap at Burnley. And the more I think about this one, the more I'm actually, okay, this is not bad for 6 months. And we'll see. They may even extend it if he does really well.
I'm absolutely sure he thinks he's playing to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And United could do that. I mean, I don't know I don't think they've got an option in this deal. Besiktas did. It was only 10 million euros, and maybe. I mean, obviously he's got a few years on his contract at Burnley, but he has good feet for a big man. And all of that. He is nice with the ball, and he's clever, as we've seen with that. I think he'll do all right.
And he's a bit nasty as
finisher.
well.
Yeah,
he's a bit nasty as well. But I think that, I mean, maybe if, say, he does well, there's not money in the summer and De Jong is available, then that would be a way he might get to stay. I said last week that if we sign a proper striker in the summer, then I maybe feel like we'd want to not have him around if we had someone young who was good.
Yeah, sure.
But if he does well, I'm sure if he does well, he will get to stay.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he's brimming with confidence. Dean Henderson levels of confidence. And that put players off at Burnley. I don't think it'll be a problem at United. There's going to be a lot of big personalities there. So anyway, we'll see that. We may well, as you say, see it on Wednesday if Martial has declared himself unfit for the 100th time in his United career.
Or even otherwise. We've signed him now.
He was so abysmal in that first half that,
we've signed him now. He's got to play. Yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him then.
Anyway, back to Rashford. I love everything about him at the moment. Not only is he scoring those tap-ins and finishing ones that I don't expect him to finish. The finish against Charlton in midweek where he just lofted it over from a very tight position. He used to miss those a lot. He did miss a couple of chances in midweek as well. But he's getting more consistent. His ability to play from the left or inside. So he's got two options.
And from the right.
And from the right.
He's got better on the right, actually.
Yeah, he doesn't score as many off the right for obvious reasons. But if he's learned the Cristiano Ronaldo thing of drifting into the right space at the right time, as a wide player and still scoring 20 goals a season, that's going to be just so good. So just get a player for him to play off.
Because I hope that he was going to get to this. I mean, someone said to me on Twitter, like probably not that long ago, I know you love him, but he's not going to make it. And what I said was, I think he's got the talent to, but I guess if I was betting, I'd say that his level is the highest possible rotation player you could get in a team that wins stuff, proper stuff. But yeah, it looks like that's in fact not the case. And obviously we still need to see a bit more, but I don't know, it just does feel like he's hit a level now, just because it feels not just like he's on a scoring streak, but there are more facets to his game, and he understands the game so much better. He understands what he needs to do so much better, and he's playing in a team set up to get the best from him.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all true. It's playing out in his numbers as well. I mean, I like looking at his record over the last, this season and over the last year or so. He's up to absolutely elite levels in terms of goals and expected goals. He's just not outperforming those stats. He is just a very good player.
Yeah, he is. He's a player, and
he's a player. And United are a team. I can't believe we're actually back. It's taken 10 years.
I mean, imagine, like we're a little bit good now. Imagine the collective loss of noggin around in this country if we get properly good.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. There's nothing like football to inspire people, for good and bad, for bad as we saw with Everton this week. And there's nothing like Manchester United to wind people up. It's brilliant. It is the collective world-class one. And everyone loses their mind when Manchester United are playing well or get something that's like even marginally controversial. It's brilliant. And all the usuals, Piers Morgan and Richie Keys, are like having a go on Twitter. It's great. Love it. Love it, all of it. Finally back. And it feels like it's going to stay that way. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with new ownership. They are apparently not that far off closing in on preferred bids. So it seems like it could well happen before the summer. It would be good for it to happen before the summer so we understand. I mean, we could get a Todd Boehly type come in and want to wave his big dick around, and that could disrupt things, or a state who wants to install his son as manager or something like that. But if they've got half a sense, they know they've got a good guy in Erik ten Hag who knows what he's doing. They've got structure around him in Fletcher and Murtaugh to control what's the money's been spent on. And if there's more money, especially if they wipe out their debt. There's a piece in the Telegraph actually this week, I wanted to mention this, talking about a big banner, exclusive in capital letters, which said United won't be able to spend any money because of financial fair play or financial sustainability, as it's now called, which basically is this ramp to you'll only be able to spend 70% of your revenue on football. And it kind of takes away all the provisions around capital costs and stuff like that were in play before. You could delete stuff that you spent on your stadium or your youth program and stuff like that. So now it's 70% of revenue in 4 years' time, 90% next year, 80% the year after, and so on. And they basically did a back of the envelope calculation that said United would be in trouble. And so there are rules around debt and stuff like that. And I just thought that's actually not true. United will be perfectly fine because the people who come in are not going to keep the debt. They're going to wipe it out. and they'll they'll wipe out that debt as equity. It'll be in their interest to do that. It's 100% what's going to happen when someone spends 5, 6, 7, 8 billion pounds on an asset, and compared to rivals, United will be in a very good financial position. So anyway, I just want to
and ultimately
they just didn't do enough. Yeah,
because the only way you can get any money out of the investment is by United being good. You've got to be good now because there are more teams getting in the Champions League, and two of the ones you're competing with are owned by states.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so United, it's very true. I mean, it could be a vanity purchase, of course, and if it's a state-run project, they're going to want United to be good.
Which states could possibly be in the mix at this point?
There's hardly any. I mean, Dubai, Bahrain, and neither of them really. Well, I mean, they can afford a club because, like, any state can afford 5, 6, 7, 8 billion, but they're not historically the ones with loads of money in the Middle East. But yeah, I mean, they've done a tour around every despot and state on the planet, apparently, and some American private equity, which is still my bet, which is where it all will come from. Anyway, I wanted to reassure people that I don't.
And also,
it
was caveated with don't qualify for the Champions League.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it seemed Liverpool would do well to make up 10 points on us at this point.
They're not.
So really, it looks like, and Chelsea.
And Spurs are rubbish.
So really, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like the only team that could really even dream about catching the current top four are Tottenham, and they're crap.
Yeah. And Conte's doing his very, very, very best to make sure they are crap. So anyway, I think United are in very good position. I think we're better than Newcastle, who are on a really hot streak. I mean, it's a season-long hot streak at this stage, but
they got away with one today.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. So I'm actually feeling very confident that United will be in the top four. And it's important for a lot of reasons. Not least that there would be a big discount on the Adidas deal. This drop in revenue, that impacts the players because they take a big cut in wages, which impacts signing players. So, or it's actually structured as bonuses. So it's very, very highly incentivized contracts at United, as they should. I think that's fair for players to earn more money if the club's earning more money. And that's what, as Alan Sugar said, it's prune juice. Money in football comes in one end, goes out the other as players' wages. And so always has done.
I liked talking back to Ten Hag because we started talking about him. I copied a couple of lines that he came out with, and apart from the terrible ones that he'd said about Mark Overmars, like the stuff that's actually important, what he said about Mark Overmars and trying to sign what's his name, Arnautovic. Yeah. He has really hasn't put a foot wrong. He said, this is why I came to Manchester United. This club is a monster. Old Trafford is a stadium with the right vibe. If you manage to light the fire, you get an amazing experience. And then he also said, fans may dream. We have to keep our feet on the ground and face that our game has a lot to improve. It can't happen that after half time we're losing so much control. It isn't necessary. Which is another, just something that someone who spoke English as their first language might not have said, but it isn't necessary. Is just really sums it up very nicely. And he is good.
He's good. And I think that points to one of the things he does. So I'm sure the United won and there'll be a huge vibe that a lot of the focus of this week and the post-match analysis they all do, all the video analysis would be on why they lost control. By the way, it took him a little bit of time to adjust to the changes Pep made. So I don't think it's a 9 out of 10 performance from Ten Hag because he got it absolutely right from the beginning. He didn't adjust quick enough. But
other teams are good and other managers are good. Yeah. So you got to expect that. You got to expect that to happen. Just as City had that kind of 15 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes when they were superior.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to dominate them for 19.
Pep said he'd been thinking some really crazy things. It's a real shame he didn't do it. I like it when Pep does crazy things like put a left back in midfield or something, or play 6 up front, or more likely none up front and 12 midfielders. But he actually came out with a fairly standard Pep side, which United beat fair and square. Nothing to do with offside goals or anything like that. They just set up well and controlled the game for the most part.
Good without.
Yeah. Okay, United have a game against Crystal Palace in midweek. Palace are not really doing very well at the moment.
It turns out maybe that Vieira is crap after all. Because he was crap at Nice. Somehow
and whatever New York Red Bull.
and then was good, then somehow got this job and bought some good players. And it's like, oh, maybe he's good. But yeah, maybe he isn't good also. But Palace, one of my preferred teams in the league to watch. Out of the if I'm doing a game for work and it's not one of the big games, Palace are one of the teams I most want to watch because I think that Michael Olise and Eberechi Eze are beautiful footballers.
Love watching them both. I think I've said this before. Such a good movie. Just looks like a real player, doesn't he? I think he does have a level that's above where he's at now. And obviously, they're just very inconsistent and they lose some really crap sides. I mean, lost to Fulham are a good side and Forest recently. And Forest, come on. I mean, there's something going wrong if you're losing to Forest.
Some of the greatest football food in the world is to be had next door to Selhurst Park, also Tasty Jerk. For anyone who's going, apart from
it's not
Jews, it's not kosher. So I can't recommend it to anyone Jewish, but to everyone else.
Right.
I understand that it might be quite good.
Very good. It's a real pain in the ass to get to, though, isn't it? Palace, especially it's in one of those islands of non-good transport links in London that happen. But
it's sort of semi-London. I would say Croydon.
Yeah, Croydon.
I mean, it's sort of one of those places that's become London. I remember arguing about this once because I'm from London, but also somewhere that might be London isn't London. So is London postcode, or is London environs of the M25, which is massive, or is it a tube station, or is it borough?
Yeah,
and I think Palace is one of those that is borough, but not postcode.
Yeah. I can't remember what the train station is. You get off and then have to walk miles from.
There's a Norwood, maybe.
That's it. Norwood,
I think I've been, but I was kind of hoping someone was going to drive me there, but it is now looking like, it's a train.
You're going to have to get public transport.
But it's one of those places, like Selhurst Park, that's not near anywhere. Like I could, when I'm doing a live blog of a football match, one of my repeated lines that I trot out, given that I've done hundreds of these, I've written millions of words on, is that if someone takes a shot and it goes miles away, the game could be anywhere, and I'll say somewhere in the vicinity of Selhurst Park, because it's just one of those places that isn't near anything.
Anyway, United going there in great form. Palace are not, and this should be another United win. Why not? I think, of course, there's reasons, but there will be another game plan from Ten Hag, very different. United will look to control this in a different way. So probably Eriksen back in central midfield, although Fred was very good.
It feels like at the top end of the table, the teams that are good, even though I don't think that they're as good as the best teams I've seen before, have got ways of making sure they win almost all the games. And part of it is probably freshness and ability to rotate, although Arsenal haven't done a lot of that this season. But they found a way up. They found a way of beating almost everyone twice. I mean, Arsenal's points tally this season is immense.
Yeah. They could end up in the 90s if they carry on like this. There's reasons to think they won't, but they are doing what the great United sides of the 90s and early noughties did not, which is rack up huge points totals.
I mean, that's partly because United got loads of points in 99, 2000, but in, I guess, United in the middle of the noughties, United were also going for European Cups and getting to FA and trying to win FA Cups and winning League Cups. So they were playing a lot more games, so probably compromising a little bit more. But nevertheless, Arsenal do have an inordinate number of points, and it feels like, and I don't know if it's like a systemized thing, that because football is more systemic and analytical than before, means that the good teams have found ways. They're more aware of where they can hurt the less good teams, because there's people watching every game assessing how you fuck these teams up. And so stuff that was more relevant before is less relevant now, whether it's home advantage, home crowd, or whatever, or inclement weather. Those kind of peripherals have been taken out of the equation a little bit more by the elite, don't they?
Yes. And the way the Premier League, although it is more equitable than almost every other league, bar the Bundesliga, when it comes to money, the way that it's been restructured year after year is that the money is the weighting for performance keeps going up. So there is more money at the top end than there used to be, and Champions League money keeps going up. So those who are regularly in the Champions League are regularly getting orders of magnitude more than those below.
But I don't think that that's the reason why we didn't see as much of this before necessarily. I think that it's more just there's a better understanding of the teams that you play and what you need to do to beat them. Plus, as you say, like the money itself, it gives you the ability to have players on the bench. One of the things that would equalise things is definitely back to 2 subs.
For sure, yeah, it really would. Yeah, the ability to... Well, it's the difference, and there was a bunch of academic stuff on this when 5 subs came in during the pandemic. The difference in quality between like 1 to 11 and 11 to 22, that's the thing that really matters. And you have a big drop-off, then you got a problem. And obviously, as you have more money, you can pay players who are better, who could be playing every week. Another club,
but also you play more games, and so there's more games for everyone.
Yeah,
and as you say, now there's 5 subs. You've got a pretty good chance of getting on.
Yeah, you change half your outfield, and those who do it effectively, it really can change with that. So anyway, I think United in a great position to rack up another 3 points as we're looking towards. I don't know what mid 70s would be a very good points total for United in historically the last 10 years, and given how badly we started the season, would be very good. We got a goal difference of +8, getting into nosebleed territory here. So +8. I mean, it's a bit because we lost by 4 to Brentford and 3 to City in that first game. It's a bit distorted. It probably shouldn't be that low, but given United's results.
Well, yeah,
I mean, the whole getting into like 75 points would get United in the Champions League, definitely, and it's it's where we're headed.
Yeah, I would be pretty surprised if we managed to make enough of a mess of this from here to not get next season's Champions League.
Yeah, great. I think that's it. Backers, stay tuned. We'll chat a bit about football this weekend, and everyone else will see you after the Palace game. Thanks a lot.
Please.
No question about that. It's supported by you, our listeners, through patreon.com/NQAT pod, where you can get access to our weekly ad-free bonus episode talking about football around the Premier League and Europe.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.